Operation Save the Projector Bulb has commenced on my completely deflated Argos executive Russian or Ukrainian hard Bulgarian influenced leather chair with armrests. Yeah, anyway, where's my bloody CRT glasses? Well, actually, they're usually here. That's not good. I can just about make all that shit out. Here's my cat eating dinner. He is eating dinner in the bedroom. He's as bad as me for that one. Right, so we tried Neuromancer and we tried Fix-It Felix. Let's make sure this version of Grand Prix Circuit is the one that works with the SD2IEC. It don't really work. It lets you play the game, but you can't play a championship because it doesn't move on to the next track. I honestly don't know, but this is the only version that actually even gets this far. The rest of them fail because it's got a custom loading routine that most of those 1mm crackers, as we shall call them from now on, didn't remove the fast load routines anyway, and they have not gone back to adding some goodness to the filth that was software piracy back then. I only used to get Amiga Pirate games because I got fed up of being ripped off by £25–30, well, in the case of Deep Space on the ST, £35 Psygnosis games. They were absolutely rubbish. They are inferior to a game that would have a medium level of interest retention on the C64 that I had before, or even a VCS. I'd rather play Vanguard on the VCS than Deep Space on the ST. Luckily I got it mail order. I believe it was £27 or something, but that was a lot of money for me. Right, so we got that. Well, the loading routines ain't that fast. They're not as fast as Elite. Oh, and the sample sounded really bad on Win Vice when I tested this. So I'm going to have a little listen now. I'm sure the samples on BMX Kids is much cleaner. Oh, bloody hell! Filter fell on the floor, innit? No! I don't want cat hairs on my filters. Come on, man. Eat. Get another filter in. Eat. Nearly done, don't worry. Just keeping an eye on my cat, make sure he doesn't take his food out of the bowl, because they do that. They do that. Do. Yeah, we had a slight accident in the bedroom without a carpet. I think one of my cats has decided floorboards and, wooden pellets for the litter trays. I don't do the rocks, thank you, they stink. At least the wooden pellets turn into sawdust and, Plus you don't have to chuck out the whole lot, so... I'm sure if your mum knew what she was doing, real terry nappies would actually be better than the early 80s, late 70s disposable shits. Literally, the shits are disposed of in a disposable nappy. Oh yeah, I forgot it goes into auto demo mode. But anyway, I'll be there soon, innit? Where's my bloody lighter? So, not been doing much coding lately, but I have had quite a few ideas. So I didn't find the CRT glasses, did we? They went over there. I've asked my cat, but he doesn't take my glasses. So we've got regular reading glasses, but no CRT. Falling on the floor. About over here. What about over here, sir? No. See, if they're in shadow somewhere, it's quite difficult for me to see them, but no. Well, this is the first. No CRT glasses. How can you see? Oh, I have found it. They're under the paper there, innit? Aslan, you've been bending my bloody reading glasses, mate. So this comes under the category of games I wish when I owned a C64 and was still using it. So probably 19... I don't really remember, and I don't really know why I stopped buying C64 games. I think the full price games were getting worse. Technically, the technical talent going on there was getting worse. And less in number. And the games, the official licensed games, or the ideas for official licensed movies, TV shows were getting more ambitious. So it was really just a bad combination, I think. And like I said, I used to pirate Amiga games because they were so terrible, technically. I didn't buy an Amiga to buy something that an ST could have done. Lotus 1 on the Atari ST is far more impressive than Batman on the Amiga. You know, the driving sections. In fact, the driving sections on Batman on the Amiga should be like Batman Returns on the Mega CD, mate. So you can have single races. I was trying to see if there's a copyright notice there, but we're on the menu screen. So yeah, okay, so we'll have that, because that means you can have automatic gearbox. I recorded loads of this stuff, but I think it was like, it was only by the third track I was like, hang on, the tracks are exactly the same. I wasn't sure on the second time round, but the third time I was like, no, you know, this track layout is definitely the same. Yeah, we'll have 3 laps. So unlike shit modern driving games, you can play any one you want. Oh fuck me, the camera's going crazy. And the camera battery light is flashing, although, yeah, see, so let's see the buildings of Monaco, although I think this was the last one I tried, Detroit. Yeah, it's not that much variation in the graphics. That's the other thing, the McLaren is the only option. It has just as much torque as all the others and more power, and the power band is exactly this. This slope doesn't really change, it just gets higher, and ditto with that. It's not like this moves over here or this moves over here. You know, it is literally, you're an idiot for not picking a McLaren. Even if you hated Prost or Senna in the McLaren winning everything, doesn't matter, mate. In this game, you have to ignore the livery So our battery's probably going to run out anyway. Well, this is not good because the battery needs 2 hours to charge before I can record anything. I guess Operation Saving Projector Bulb was a disaster like Operation Ridding the UK of COVID, which was perfectly possible. I don't see why people need to go backwards and forwards willy-nilly without some sort of quarantine. Fuck you. Children don't count, so it's only about maybe 2/5 of the population versus 3/5. It's actually closer than that, I reckon. We will have to suffer because the other lot are too fucking selfish. So this is a game where I got the idea from our racing game, which looks nothing like this by the way, where you check for controller input twice for every one output of the update of the graphics. It's one of those games where it looks unplayable on the video, but trust me, if you play this game on the C64, you're going to be impressed at how playable it is. And the graphics are like, they're technically no worse than any other, like 3D type thing. So, in fact, Cisco Heat's bitmap graphics are even slower than this on the C64 and Chase HQ. So, exactly. I'm wasting my roll up here. But I think, LCD strapped over your eyeballs with a 3 frames per second update and smoking, even in an automatic Formula 1 car from the 80s, it's a bit of a problem even for Ayrton Senna, I would say. So, roll up's gone out anyway. That's good. This game has everything. It's very controllable on the car. You can see where you are on the, the map in the corner, which I didn't quite get to in time. Yeah, at the moment I've got loads of experiments I need to do. Before I can start writing everything, because you have to make a decision if you're going to compile something or not. There's certain things you can't do or if you're going to compile the program in pet speed. So you do things a different way. Now, I've got a little idea for doing some horizontal scrolling, not horizontal pixel offset business. That's the hardware scroll register on the C64. Now, when you actually have to move the screen. So I'm going to do that in pokes, so I can have. It's really a data problem to solve. If you lay out your data in the right way, then where you're reading it from with the peaks to poke it into character memory is automatic. It does a conversion for you. Think of it as like firmware based chunky to planar routine on the Amiga. Not hardware, but firmware. So there's additional features of the hardware that you use with like your software to do it faster than a pure software calculation of what you're trying to do. So I just need to see if compiling a program that pokes 20 by 40 characters, that's 800 characters, isn't it? Oh, it'll crash. See what happens when you try and smoke and win your Formula 1 race. And I want to see if I can get it to a level So you've got 40 by 10 would be 400 pokes. But you wouldn't have to erase anything. So it's like 200 pokes. And you only have to do that once every 8th frame. The other times it's simply a poke to the pixel offset register for the horizontal alignment of the characters. So I'm wondering if you could do a iridium like that. Yeah, like I said, a compiler worth of shit will take a poke and transfer it to the store instruction in direct machine code. It should be a direct translation. Didn't I make some sort of coffee? I did make some sort of coffee. There's even an apple there as well, mate. An apple! Yeah, we didn't do too well on that one. I didn't think you could crash on the easiest mode, but anyway. I should check out the Competition Pro I've got here as well, actually, make sure everything works on it. Having all this gear is like having like loads of classic cars and all the guff that goes with that. Like a kit to convert something to electronic ignition from mechanical distributor cap based ignition. There we go. Nicely that's a zip stick on the floor, that is, mate. Hey. So yeah, I actually really like the graphics of the cars. I need to investigate if you can do that in bog standard character based multicolour mode, because they would look brilliant. And actually you can print multicolour redefined user defined graphic characters anyway, which would leave you all the sprites for this business here. Because you know the C64, each sprite is 24 pixels wide minimum, and if you expand them horizontally they're 48 pixels wide and you get 8 of them. So you do the math, you can certainly do 320 pixels worth. Something you can't do on the old Amiga. The sprites are smaller and you have to do some sort of chipset sapping routine to reuse the sprites the same way they used to do on the old VCS games. It's a really shit system actually. And the fact that they can be up to like, you know, 256 pixels high is neither here nor there. You know, they're only 16 pixels wide, so it's only useful in a vertically scrolling game. So yeah, that would be interesting, but I never quite got my head around the old multicolour business. But it turns out it's the way that the programmer's reference guide is written. Oh, we've got a bloody tunnel in here obviously as well. See, if you crash and you fail to qualify, it's just game over, because I can't get the championship mode to work. It won't move on to the next track after Brazil. So you end up playing Brazil. It just, I don't know why. Works fine on the emulator with True Drive emulation turned off, but every single other copy of this game does not work at all. So you're lucky you can even do that with the SD2IEC. Yeah, so I bought Deep Space. I wasted like £27.50 worth of me money getting that mail order from Bite Back Software. Who remembers him? And I certainly wouldn't have done that if I'd, you know, had a cracked disc of Deep Space. Would have been far happier paying 20 quid mail order for Star Raiders, which I did actually have. Love Star Raiders on the VCS, so of course I'm going to buy an original copy for the SD. And luckily that was a gamble that sort of paid off. So yes, we've discussed how the grey for the tyres is wrong over the black tarmac for the road, because tyres are never lighter colour grey than the tarmac. Never. You go and look out the window now. That is just not a thing. So it looks really dumb. But they're using the black on the rest of the screen probably as a background colour. So all the highlights would be grey anyway, but it certainly has to be a character based screen the way they're doing it. So I'm not really sure how they're doing the 3D. Is it really 3D at all? I honestly don't know how they're doing it. If it was using graphics, what happened there then? Car destroyed. Why is the car destroyed? I'm on the rookie level. This never happens before. Maybe on the single race it's different. Then it's kind of unplayable really. Certainly not while you're smoking. Well, I guess this has been a good look at Grand Prix Circuit anyway. If you copy it onto a real disc and play it off a real disc drive, you won't have any of these problems. And then you'll get to really enjoy the game. But it's a really impressive game. Well, the battery's still going. That's a bit weird. Battery's been flashing for a long time. In fact, 22 minutes. Well, maybe not, but at least 20 minutes. So DNF, story of your life, Mad Commodore. Did not finish the house. Yeah, I don't recognise any of those names as being like, you know, fake names like Ayrton Sendup. The Professor was another one. Oh right, see that's the problem there. You need to be on beginner all the time. Let's try Canada. Well, I'm going to look at the graphics now for the cars. I don't think it's going to... Yeah, these are nice. I suppose if you count the colours there, got two shades of grey and a white and a red and black for the tyres, so it's 5 colours. So these are character based probably. But you have white and red and black up here, and here you have 2 shades of grey, so maybe that is a bitmap image. Yeah, that'd need a bit of work. That's a bit dumb. Why does it do that when it knows it has to load it in again? Why does it go back there? It should be a crack that skips these fucking animations anyway. Always drive as McLaren. I don't think it really matters. That is after they get it working properly with the SD2IEC, which they don't support. These cracks are just designed to work on the Commodore 3.5-inch disk drive for the C64 and 128 actually. They're not specifically designed to work with the SD2IEC, they're not tested for it, but generally stuff that does work on that will work on you know, SD2IEC. Possibly with some problem. I think the other problem was 4x4 off-road racing by Epix. There's there is some sort of limiting factor. That's another one I like actually. On the Amiga it's horrible, but on the C64 it's not bad. Really should get a spare battery for the camera, so at least I can have one charging while the others are recording. Yeah, if you have a new battery you get like 1 hour 40 something minutes with it, and it will charge up in 2 hours. So yeah, I would have really enjoyed this game, but I think this is a 1990 game, so as long as I'd never seen an Amiga or an ST like 3D game like this, or how badly coded they were, I suppose even if I still had a C64 in 1990 I'd be happy. I'd be like, wow, this is really playable. The update is not that bad, but the update to your controller input and what happens to the display is. So it probably calculates twice and then draws after it's done the second input for the controller. So it's an interesting way of doing it. It's exactly the same way as if you're doing a game in Petsky on the C64. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with the Competition Pro 5000, I think this one is. And I've taken the suckers off the bottom. You sucker! Not to be confused with moussaka, which is a disgusting Greek dish, and they can keep that one, mate. So qualifying is no problem, it's just not crashing into them. Yeah, the buttons are not great on these when they're new. So I think I'll swap the micro switches round on this. That'd be a good little video. Need to buy a soldering iron. So yeah, these graphics for the cars are much worse than the other ones. So those must be bitmap graphics, so you have to make some compromises. You can certainly get better than this. It's the same amount of data however badly you've drawn your multicolour graphics, because they're obviously changing one colour. And obviously, unless they're sprites, they don't look expanded enough to be sprites, and they're way too jerky to be sprites, so I reckon only the bottom half of the screen is sprite based. Maybe just the steering wheel. I'm already on the podium, mate, so do prefer the zip stick, but the joystick bit is not too bad on Competition Pro. It's different, but it's not any worse. It's really down to the fire buttons. What you want is the micro switched fire buttons of the zip stick, and the actual buttons that you're pressing being the same as like arcade fire buttons on the control panel. I think then you'd have the ultimate joystick. So yeah, if you get a few things and you've got a bit of workshop space, you could certainly do stuff like that. You have to buy one of them small drills, like a Dremel knockoff probably, for like 15 quid or so. So we are actually winning the Grand Prix, so yeah, when you stop fucking about, it is perfectly possible. It's like any other Formula 1 3D game. It's like slow in, fast out. So you have to use your brakes, but you can accelerate out the turns, and it's not as laggy to your input as it is for the graphics. So it is literally like playing Formula 1 Grand Prix on a 486 back in 1993, whatever. And you know, the Jeff Crammond one. But viewing the screen through a 3 frames per second LCD or something, or TV frame buffer sort of thing.